morning students. Welcome back to our next class. Today's class I would like to explain lemma under definitions. Okay. See our first lemma. The statement is if inner product of V1 comma W is equal to inner product of V2 comma W for all W in inner product space X. Inner product space X. So this is the given condition. Next, then V1 is equal to V2. Full stop. In particular, V1W is equal to 0. In particular, V1 inner product of V1W is equal to 0 for all W belongs to X. Implies V1 is equal to 0. Here, two conditions are there. One is V1 is equal to V2. Second one is by using this, we have to show that V1 is equal to 0. Okay? Important for short answer. Right. See the proof now. See, suppose inner product of V1 comma W is equal to inner product of V2 comma W for all W belongs to X. Here we are taking one more condition. Let X is an inner product space. First we are writing what is the X. Later on we take the supposition. So after here statement. Later proof is let X is an inner product space. Suppose V1W is equal to V2W for all W belongs to X. Next line is sending RHS turn to LHS, then inner product of V1W minus inner product of V2W is equal to 0. Then it can be written as inner product of V1 minus V2 comma W is equal to 0. Here we have to take W is equal to V1 minus V2. Then doing the simplifications will get our required condition. See the next line. Take W is equal to V1 minus V2. Then see the continuation. No? Then inner product of V1 minus V2 comma V1 minus V2 is equal to 0. Okay. So in place of W we have to substitute the value. Next inner product of X comma X is norm X square. So that norm of V1 minus V2 whole square. Then sending the square that side. Then norm V1 minus V2 is equal to 0. Next then eliminating the norm and write V1 minus V2 is equal to 0. Then V1 is equal to V2. See, this is our required first condition. Okay. Later we will show the second one. For this second one we can suppose inner product of V1W is equal to 0. So that V1 is equal to 0. So see the continuation now. What is the supposition? V1W is equal to 0. See the continuation. Suppose inner product of V1 W is equal to 0. To get V1 is equal to 0, here we have to take W is equal to V1, then substitute W value and do the simplifications. We will get our required second condition. Okay. So then inner product of V1 comma in place of W what we have to take V1 0. Again norm V1 is sorry inner product of V1 is norm V1 square 0. Then norm V1 is equal to 0. Then V1 is equal to 0. These two are our required cases in this lemma. Is it clear? See, our next definition is sesquilinear. Very important definition. Having the examples also. Okay. Sesquilinear definition. Sesquilinear. Sesquilinear form or sesquilinear functional. So here the definition is, let x and y be the vector spaces. Let x and y be vector spaces over same field K. Over same field K. Form or functional means a compulsory from domain to codomain. So, and it is mapping. So that next line is then mapping. Here sesquilinear is denoted with H. Then mapping H from x cross y to field K, x into y to K is called sesquilinear form. Is called sesquilinear form or sesquilinear functional form or functional. Both are having the same definition only if it satisfies the following properties. Sesquilinear form such that for all x comma x1 comma x2 belongs to capital X and y comma y1 comma y2 belongs to capital Y. Three elements we want to, and the scalars alpha comma beta, scalars also we want, and the scalars alpha comma beta, it satisfies the following properties. Then the mapping H is called sesquilinear. See, what are the properties? The first one is H of x1 plus x2 comma y is equal to H of x1 plus x2 comma y is equal to mapping of domain elements. Here domain is x into y, so that ordered pair elements. So it can be written as H of x1 comma y plus H of x2 comma y. Sesquilinear first property. H of x1 plus x2 comma y. Second one is same thing for second variable. H of x comma y1 plus y2. How to write it is H of x comma y1 plus H of x comma y2. Okay. Next third property, H of alpha x comma y. See, third property I will write here. H of alpha x comma y is equal to then the mapping H from x cross y to k is called sesquilinear. Clear? See what is the definition? Let x and y be the vector spaces over the field k. Then the mapping H from x cross y to k is called sesquilinear form or sesquilinear functional, such that for all x comma x1 x2 belongs to x, y comma y1 comma y2 belongs to y, and two scalars alpha comma beta, then it satisfies the following properties, that are: first one, h of x1 plus x2 comma y is equal to h of x1 comma y plus h of x2 comma y. Second one is h of x comma y1 plus y2 is equal to h of x comma y1 plus h of x comma y2. Third one is h of alpha x comma y is equal to alpha into h of x comma y. Fourth one is h of x comma beta y is equal to beta bar into h of x comma y. Otherwise, you are having the another definition also for this sesquilinear. Okay, you can write anyone in the exams, your wish. So I will tell you the definition in the point wise. See the first point. In other words, if h is linear in x, next line. In other words, if h is linear in x, domain set x, and conjugate linear in y, and conjugate linear in y, then h is called sesquilinear. Okay? Then h is called sesquilinear. Okay? The first one, four properties. Otherwise, this second one, simply h is linear in the x and conjugate linear in the y, then h is called sesquilinear. So after the definition, you can note down these things point wise. Second one is, if x and y are real, if capital X and y are real vector spaces, that is k is equal to r, field k is also real space, then h of x comma beta y is equal to h of x comma beta y is equal to beta bar into h of x comma y. We already know this property. Not beta bar, no, only beta. No, not beta bar, only beta. H of x comma beta y is equal to beta into h of x comma y, and h is, then h is called bilinear, then h is called bilinear. Means to say both the spaces are real spaces and satisfying one extra property. Why it is bilinear? Means to say, since h is linear in both x and y. So now here x and y both are real vector spaces, and scalar field k is also real, and h satisfies x comma beta y is equal to beta into h of x comma y. Then h is called bilinear, meaning to say this h is linear in both Then finally it is called bilinear. Okay, after the definition note down these 2 points also. Based on this definition, I would like to give an example of sesquilinear. So, with example, you can easily understand the definition. Without example, you cannot understand. So, what is the example? Inner product is sesquilinear and bounded. Mean to say, inner product satisfying the sesquilinear and bounded conditions. So, now sesquilinear is denoted with H. In place of H, we are taking inner product symbol. This inner product is clearly example of sesquilinear and bounded also. How can we say that it is sesquilinear? Is it satisfies all the properties or not? I will explain that. Okay. Now see the next slide. Example. Example. Every inner product is sesquilinear and bounded. Sesquilinear and bounded. Right. How can we say that it is sesquilinear and bounded? For this purpose, here we want elements. So next line, let x comma y comma x1 comma x2 belongs to the set capital X. Here we are showing the sesquilinear properties. For the sesquilinear, first properties is h of x1 plus x2 comma y. Here instead of the h we are taking inner product. So inner product of x1 plus x2 comma y. Okay. So here xy, x1, x2, we are taking y's also, y1, y2, all is in the x. So how to write the inner product? Inner product of x1 comma y plus inner product of x2 comma y. This one same thing in the sesquilinear definition, first point, right? Next, second point is inner product of x comma y1 plus y2. Okay, it can be written as inner product of x comma y1 plus inner product of x comma y2. Now, the third one is inner product of alpha x comma y. So we already know that it can be simply written as alpha into inner product of x comma y. Now the fourth one is inner product of x comma beta y is equal to, we already know that the second variable is having the constant. If we can write outside bar exists, so beta bar inner product of x comma y. So in place of which inner product is there, it satisfies all the sesquilinear properties. So hence the symbol inner product is example of sesquilinear. Example of sesquilinear because it satisfied all the sesquilinear condition. Next one, boundedness. Boundedness definition is, you already know that modulus of function is less than or equal to certain constant, then that function is called bounded. Same thing here, instead of the function we are having the inner product. So So here also same thing, we have to show that the inner product of modulus of inner product is less than or equal to certain constant. Okay, right. See the next line. And otherwise also modulus of the function. Here function is inner product. So here inner product of two variables is by the Schwarz inequality less than or equal to norm x into norm y. If you are taking norm of these two variables is certain constant, then modulus of the inner product is less than or equal to certain constant, then this inner product is called bounded. So therefore inner product is bounded. So finally, hence inner product is, so in words you can write, and symbolic representation is, this is the symbol, is example of sesquilinear and bounded both. Sesquilinear and bounded. Is it clear now? So without this definition you cannot understand the theorem now. So definitions are clear. So next I would like to explain our next definition is norm of a sesquilinear function. You already know norm of a linear operator, norm of a linear functional. Same thing, our next definition is norm of a sesquilinear functional. So in this norm you are having the two formulas. You can write anyone in the exam, evaluation. I already told you the difference of the two definitions. Which one is suitable to write, how to identify which one is the when we have to write x value, when we have to substitute x non-zero. Okay, I already told you in the previous unit at the time of linear operators. See the next definition. Norm and bounded sesquilinear functional. Next definition, bounded and norm of a sesquilinear function. Sesquilinear functional, either form or function. See the definition. Let x and y be the normal spaces. Let x and y be normal spaces. Full stop. If H is sesquilinear on x cross y, if H is sesquilinear on x cross y, and if there exists a real number c, such that write in the next line, modulus bounded sesquilinear functional So out of the two definitions, boundedness is completed, and norm H is equal to same formula supremum of modulus of function by variables. Okay. Next line, and norm H is equal to and norm H is equal to supremum of here x belongs to capital X except 0, small y belongs to capital Y except 0. This is the over the supremum modulus of h of x comma y by norm x into norm y. Okay, this is one formula. Otherwise, one more is also there. X is equal to supremum of norm x is equal to 1, norm y is equal to 1. Then here modulus of h of x comma y. So norm h is equal to, you are having the two formulas. If you are not writing the denominator, at that time write equal to one formula. If you are writing the denominator, at that time you can write these x values are non-zeros. Is called norm of h. So is called norm of h. So first one is the boundedness, second one is the norm. See, based on these definitions, you are having the next theorem, very important theorem for long answer, either 12 marks, otherwise for 8 marks, 6 marks like this. That is Rees representation theorem for sesquilinear form. Named theorem it is, so statement carries 2 marks. Very easy and important theorem for long answer. This is the last theorem in this topic. Rees named theorem, Rees representation theorem for sesquilinear form. So from videos only you can copy the notes. If you are having the doubts, we'll discuss in the live class. See the Rees representation theorem for sesquilinear statement. Let H1 and H2 be Hilbert spaces and small h from H1 cross H2 to K be a bounded sesquilinear form. Then H has a representation h of x comma y is equal to inner product of sx comma y, where s from H1 to H2 is a bounded linear operator, full stop. S is uniquely determined by H and has the norm S is equal to norm H. Easy theorem, important theorem. So here given conditions are H1, H2 is Hilbert spaces and H is a small h is a bounded sesquilinear form. Using that two, we have to show that h of x comma y is equal to inner product of sx comma y. S is a bounded linear operator. Second one is S is to show that S is unique. Third one is norm S is equal to norm H. Okay, I will explain this theorem in the next class. Okay.